All right, everybody, this is Faiz, VERSEY'S Real Estate Broker of the LePage team, Realty, and welcome. So this is another edition of Faiz VERSEY'S Daring Predictions for, in this case, 2025. I've been doing this for 5 years or 6 years. This is my 6th year doing it. And let's see how good I am at predicting what's going to happen in the Ottawa real estate market for the rest of this year. We're also going to check my predictions for 2024 and see how that worked out. My friends, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm a real estate broker and I help people to buy and sell property. So if you have any needs in that area or you know anybody who has needs in that area, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you so much. Let's carry on with today's content. We're going to start off with the following graph. Let me just stop this video and get the graph. Folks, here's the graph. So I'm not at home where I store my previous year's data. So I'm still in the office. So I just grabbed a screenshot from my YouTube video from last year. You can actually go and watch the YouTube video if you wish. And this tells us what was the state of affairs in January of 2024. My friends, before I carry on, very important point I must preface by saying this is all for fun. Real estate is not a short-term hold. We don't really want to try and figure out what's going to happen over the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. Real estate is a long-term hold, 10 years or more. And if you've watched any of my previous videos where I talk about the long-term history of home prices in Ottawa, the past 65 years, 67 years, and in my view, exactly that is going to be repeated in the next 65 years. I'll tell you in a moment why. But Ottawa property tends to go up steadily over time, not every year, over time. So this is just for fun to try and make some predictions. So when it comes to Ottawa, owning property in Ottawa, owning, buying, selling, think long term. There's nothing that's going to happen in the next 67 years that hasn't already happened. We've already seen booms. We've already seen busts, a lot of problems, oil prices and wars and countries being torn apart. And when I talk to people now, because we're in this Trump era with some Trump issues happening according to the tariffs, I don't know too much about it. I don't worry about it too much. It's just noise as far as I'm concerned, because in real estate, we're thinking long term. So my friends, nothing new is happening right now. When I talk to people who say, oh God, this is all new. Oh my God, the property market is going to crash. And I say, look, I don't know exactly everything about the news right now because I don't worry about it. But property is a long-term hold. As we say in property, that if you hold property will forgive you any mistake if you hold it long enough. That's it. Property will forgive you any mistake if you hold it long enough. So my friends, whatever's happened in the last 6 7 years is going to happen again, because everything that's going to come, the good, the bad news, we've already seen it. And people may say that, oh, but how can you predict the future by looking backwards? Oh, what else are you going to use? That's about the best statistic that we can get our hands on. Of course, the future is only known to the Almighty. I don't worry about it. That's his job. You shouldn't worry about it either. Just work with what we have, which is to say that we're going to be fine in the property markets as long as we hold it long enough. I hope that helps you tremendously. So this video is all about the short term, the next 1 year, just for fun, nothing more. So where was I? I've now totally forgotten where I was. Where was my train of thought? Okay, I'm back. So the way this graph works is that every year in the beginning of the year, now this year I missed doing this in January because last year, November, the whole real estate market in Ottawa, in Ontario, we had some new technology come in, some new systems come in, and it was next to impossible to find statistics. Now, maybe I didn't know where to find it, and I think I've just figured it out now in April. So I'm doing this now. Usually I do this Daring Predictions video in the first month. Sorry, I'm spitting a little bit. Where's my tissue paper? Okay, just found it. Okay, so I'm getting very excited about this predictions video. And what it is that I usually do it in January, but this year I'm doing it in April. That's what it is. And we'll talk about the rest of the year. So my friends, what happened in the previous years, for example, daring, that would be me. So daring is me, daring predictions, right? So it's quite daring to make predictions. And I would have predicted that in 2020, the market is going to go up by 8 to 9%. Now, RLP is my boss's, Royal LePage team Realty. And they had predicted 4.5%. Why do I have two columns with me and my bosses? Are we not the same? Yes, of course we are the same. But I just love to have a competition with my bosses to see if I can beat them out, eke out a win, even if it's a small amount. And I've been keeping a tally of that, as you'll find from just another graph that I'll throw up shortly. So in 2020, for example, I predicted 8 to 9% increase. They predicted 4.5%. And the actual came out at the end of the year to 19.5% on the plus side. So in that particular year, I won. Okay, and I'll show you more of that later. So that's how this chart works. I've been keeping a tally for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. We'll see how this year worked out in just a moment. And I'll talk about 2025 in just a moment. Let me grab another graph. I will be with you shortly. Thank you. Okay, my friends, so what's going to happen? So what happened in 2024? Let's take a look at that first. So I'm looking at this 2024, 5.5%. I hope you can see the graph. And 4.5% is what LePage team Realty predicted. 5.5% is what I predicted last year. And actually what it turned out to be, and I've got some stats in front of me, and I made a note on this chart in front of me as well over here. This number came out to 2%. So the Ottawa real estate property market appreciated by 2% in 2024. So what that means is my bosses were closer, unfortunately. So R won that year, R meaning LePage, D won the year previous, etc., etc. I'll tell you what this, here it is, in fact. Here's the total tally for the last 5 years, where D is 3 and R is 2, and D, meaning me, daring, is ahead by 1 point at this point of the game. Hope I can keep that gap going in my favor. So what about 2025? So my prediction for 2025 is that it's going to be a tough year. There's no doubt. We've got the Trump issues. We've got interest rates that are trending down to try and counter that. And so it's going to be a worrisome year, as every year. Nothing unusual happening this year. So I think this year the Ottawa real estate property market does 4%. So I'm making note of that again, 4%. I can't write it down now because I don't know exactly how to do that, but let's say 4%. We'll check it out at the end of the year or early next year when I do my next daring predictions. So my friends, I hope you found that useful. If you have any questions about what's going to happen in the short term, I don't really know the answer, but if you have any questions about how to buy or sell a property in Ottawa, then please do look me up. Or if you know somebody who has needs in that area, please look me up. I look forward to being of service, and until I speak with you again, take care. Bye-bye.